That'll be the un.
It will be the on, and it's recording. Hi. Hi, Brendan.
Hello.
Hi, could you please introduce yourself and tell us roughly what it is that you do?
Okay, I am Brendan O'Hara. I'm the Member of Parliament for Argyll and Bute. I'm also the SNP frontbench defence spokesperson on digital culture, media and sport, and a member of the House of Commons Select Committee on digital culture, media and sport.
So is that two hats you're wearing at the minute then? Is it defence and culture?
No. I no longer do defence. I've moved on from defence to DCMS, as they call it.
See all these anachronisms?
Absolutely.
I just can't get them. It's just a few quick questions, and the first one is: do you think Scotland should be an independent country?
I do, and I have since I've been able to think for myself. I first joined the SNP in 1982, immediately after the Hillhead by-election. I worked for George Leslie, as it was in 1982, the Hillhead by-election, and I joined the SNP. I think it was actually on the day of the poll, which we got gubbed.
Well,
Roy Jenkins was elected.
I remember him. So you think that Scotland? So you joined the SNP, but you do think Scotland? Was that one of the primary moving things that you thought that Scotland has to be an independent country too? Oh,
it was the only reason for me joining the SNP. I mean, very quickly. I mean, I grew up in the East End of Glasgow. You weighed the Labour vote. The idea that the SNP would ever achieve anything was just an absolute fanciful notion. I remember being, laughed at school by teachers and fellow pupils because I said I believed that Scotland should be independent and I supported the SNP, and it was deemed as absolute fanciful nonsense that anyone would. So I was a bit of a freak back in the day, but incredible. The idea that Scotland could have moved so far in such a relatively short space of time was absolutely astonishing.
The events right now in Catalan are quite interesting, what's happening down there. But I'd like to kind of focus in on what do you think are the next steps for us in Scotland to bring about an independent country?
Okay, I think the first big thing is don't lose our nerve. We are under siege from the British state and the apparatus of the British state. We have, like no other time I can ever remember, have the SNP or the idea of Scottish independence been under such sustained and prolonged attack, and it's very, very easy to lose heart. I think if we're honest, there have all been days that we've looked at the press or we've talked to somebody and thought, my goodness, that this is just falling away from us. We missed our chance. But I honestly don't think we have. I think I always compare it to the French Revolution. We look back on the French Revolution as an event, but if you were living in the French Revolution, it was a whole series of events which, when one occurred, when you were there, you'd no idea that the next one was going to happen. But as we look back now as a series of inevitable events and consequences, and of course it wasn't. And I think that's what we're in the middle of now. And we are in the middle of a peaceful revolution. And I've no doubt that in 200 years' time, the way we look back at the French Revolution, people will look back at this time in Scotland and say, "Oh well, it was absolutely inevitable. It was going to be independent." Look at the way it was all breaking down. And I'm sure they're right. I believe it is inevitable. But when you're in the middle of that roller coaster, when you're on one of the downward slopes in the roller coaster, it's very difficult to believe you're going to get all the way back up. So don't lose hope, don't lose faith, don't lose the belief, because it is within touching distance. And the most recent poll, I mean, after all we've been through, after all that we've had thrown at us, for independence to have actually gone up in the poll is absolutely remarkable, fantastic, and such a boost. And I think that within that as well, that folks say the headline figure hasn't changed. It's still 45-55 or 46-54. But I think that there is, beneath those headline figures, there's huge change and there's huge movement, and I think it's all brought around by Brexit. I think there's a number of people, a substantial number of people probably, who voted yes to Scottish independence 3 years ago, who also voted for Brexit. And I think it's people who just want change, people who, the system isn't working for them and they demand, a change, and they will vote for whatever change is on offer. But so I think perhaps some of them have gone. I firmly believe that when the question is asked again, that they will come back. But I think there is evidence that at the middle class business, affluent, well-heeled influencers who we didn't get to in 2014 with Brexit and with the consequences of Brexit, I think a lot of them are now looking at Scottish independence not as a leap into the unknown, but actually keeping a foot in a lifeboat. And I think that as the catastrophe, as the disaster that is Brexit unfolds and people face the harsh reality, because at the moment we're still in the EU, we've still got all the benefits of the EU, we've still got all the comforts and security of being in the EU, but once they start to go, then I think that those people will start coming over more and more to independence. So we've got to keep our nerve, we've got to keep focused, we've got to keep talking the truth, and we've got to keep spelling out that an independent Scotland within the European Union is by far and away the best option for Scotland and its people. And I think we do that, I think we will win.
And I agree with you. I think the key aspect is not giving up on hope. You have made an interesting kind of point last time I had a chat with you about splitting it into thirds.
Yes.
There's a third who are strongly
Absolutely.
for, there's a third who are strongly against, but it's that middle third. Do you think that middle, that well-heeled, or...
Well, I think, you're right. I'm a great believer in thirds. I think there is a third of Scots, sort of many of whom frequent this fine establishment, who would live in a field and eat mud in order to be independent. Equally, there's a third of Scots who would live in a field and eat mud to remain part of the Union, and they're utterly immovable. But there's a third in the middle, and it's that pragmatic Scotland, that Scotland which says, I am neither wedded to an independent Scotland, neither am I wedded to the Union, but I will do what's best for me, my family, my community, and that pragmatic vote is up for grabs. And I think that is where the SNP will win, by reaching out to that section and saying, Brexit is going to be catastrophic for you. Everything you've built up, you're in danger of losing. All of the securities that the European Union has afforded you over the last 40 years are about to be removed. You can either choose to sail off into the middle distance with the United Kingdom, or you can stay with what you know, with what you have as an independent country staying within the European Union. And I think that is the key. And I think that is a message. Let's not get diverted in the sort of day-to-day vagaries of how things are looking. I think we have a solid, constant message about independent Scotland within the European Union being best for you, your family, your community and your country. And I think stick to that message and we will prevail.
And with Brexit having a fixed timeline, and at the end of that timeline there will be a decision made either for Britain will be out. Even it's already triggered, it's coming up. Do you think the timing of our vote for independence is within that, or do you think it's beyond that?
I've no idea.
Okay.
I honestly don't know. I think there are huge challenges either side of that decision. I will leave it to people far more experienced and with far more knowledge of such matters than me to decide when best to go. And I trust them absolutely that when we do go for it, we will get it right. The timing has to be right. We've got so much to lose if we get it wrong.
Okay, Brendan, thanks very much, and
pleasure.
We'll chat again soon, hopefully.
Excellent.
Okay,
I'll see you on the other side of independence.
Yes, you will, definitely.
If not
absolutely.